Typically, sister training leaders would go and they'd take one sister to their area and the other sister training leader would stay in your area. And so you just proselyte in the two areas for a day, and then the sister training leaders would fill out this form with you and evaluate you and kind of just tell you what you did wrong and what you needed to do differently. And it was really hard. My companions and I didn't like it at all and just felt like it wasn't helpful for us, at least. And so when we became sister training leaders, we decided to change it. We scrapped, we got permission from the mission president first, but we scrapped the little paperwork of, evaluating the sisters, and instead changed it to what are their needs, what are they struggling with, how are their companions doing, how are they feeling about the work, more of how they're actually doing personally. And instead of splitting them up and going to two separate areas, we would travel to their area and we'd be with each companion separately, but we'd only be working in their area. And in that time, we always showed up with either their favorite ice cream flavor or flavor of ice cream, and then their favorite candy bar. And we did that for all of our sisters. And at one point, we covered two zones. We covered the Lafayette zone, and we also covered the Alexandria zone. So I got to see a lot of Louisiana. I just didn't actually serve in a lot of it. But during that time, there was a couple exchanges that we did where we just did service all together, the four of us. And we'd separate them in different rooms of the house that we were serving in and just see how they were doing and ask them how their lives were going and how the work was going and how things were with their companions. But there was one time when we went up to do exchanges in the Alexandria zone with some sisters, and we did the same thing, staying in their area rather than splitting them up in the two areas. And I was with one of the sisters, and she was actually one of my MTC companions, and she was having a hard time. And we literally spent 3 hours just sitting in the car talking. And a lot of people would think, you're wasting your time, you're wasting the Lord's time. You're supposed to just be working, finding people, teaching people. And for me, that experience itself showed me the importance of time again, and then love. And a lot of people think that my way of doing missionary work was kind of unconventional in that sense, but it was what she needed. And she felt much better afterwards, and for me, looking back on that, it was really cool because she felt a lot more confident in herself, and she I didn't get to hear too much of how things went afterwards, but she knew she was loved. She knew that she was doing a good job, and that we were there for her, and that the Lord was pleased with her. It was during those exchanges like that with her, but also other exchanges, that I really came to appreciate, what success really means in a mission. I think a lot of missionaries think if they don't baptize people, or if they're not having a lot of people to teach, that they're not successful. And I learned very quickly how that's not true at all. There's a scripture in Alma 26 that talks about, I believe it's Alma and the sons of Mosiah, and they're talking, and Alma says, behold, we can behold the fruit of our labors, and are they few? And he says, I say unto you, nay, but there are many, and we can behold of their sincerity because of their love towards their brethren and also towards us. And I learned as I did those exchanges with those sisters and was serving them and loving them, that success is love, is seeing people have an increase of love for each other and the people. Even if you don't baptize someone, or an investigator falls through and they don't want to get baptized or keep meeting with you, if they love you and you love them and they love each other, that was what success was. So that was probably one of the biggest life-changing experiences I had on my mission.